My name is Charlie Taylor. I'm Chief Executive of the National College for Teaching and Leadership, but also former head teacher of the Willow School in Hillingdon in West London, which specialised in children with emotional and behavioural difficulties. And I've been asked to give a few tips on managing behaviour for the fantastic Troops to Teachers programme run by NCTL. I think the first thing to think about is about teaching behaviour. Don't necessarily expect the children to be able to do what you want them to do. You have to actually teach them and to show them. And don't be afraid of spending time on this. And particularly around routines. When teachers begin teaching, often the exciting and the sexy bit is the teaching. But actually what really counts is getting the routines in place. How are you going to get them from A to B? How are you going to get them in from the playground? How are you going to make sure that every kid's got his pencil or her pencil sharpened at the beginning of the lesson? And it's those minor irritations, if they're not dealt with, can actually end up being one of the most frustrating things about being a teacher. The next thing is to be really clear about the rules. And if you have rules in place, make sure you follow through with them. If you have a rule about putting your hand up and children are calling out, then you need to address it and to deal with it. And to be prepared to be flexible within those rules. So particularly with some more challenging children, and it's a bit of a difficult paradox, there has to be an element of flexibility because for some children, simple systems aren't always enough. And the most important thing, or the two most important things, are first of all to stay calm and not to get riled. It's very easy to say don't take it personally. Often it does feel very personal. But what's important is not to show it and to find ways of dealing with it and to acknowledge the fact that you might be feeling fed up or cross or whatever it might be. And the second and final most powerful thing when it comes to managing children's behaviour is praise. Parallel praise to children who are doing the right thing. Catching children being good when the really difficult child is doing the right thing. And if we think about it, even a child who misbehaves 20 times a lesson and each piece of behaviour lasts a couple of minutes, there are also a lot of times when that child is doing the right thing. If you can get your praise to criticism ratio very high, if we're giving out large amounts of praise, 5, 6 pieces of praise to every time you criticise, it makes a fundamental difference. It's counterintuitive. The temptation is always to look at the child who's doing the wrong thing. But if you just force yourself to praise the child next door who's doing the right thing, ignore the bad behaviour, it is amazing how often it works. Many of you will have brilliant skills in this already and will manage this well. Others of you will have to find your own particular way of doing it and your own style. There's a great temptation often to imitate teachers that we've had in the past, and that can be useful, but in the end, everybody as a teacher has to find their own individual way of working. Thank you and good luck.